And away we go. Again, Gregory. Gregg or Gregory?
Gregg, please.
Gregg, nice to meet you. Bill, nice to meet you.
Great.
See, for people who are not watching but just listening, here's Gregg's voice,
Hello, everyone. Thanks for inviting me.
and here's Bill's voice.
And this is me, and I'm very happy to be here.
Although they really should check out the video since your two are just your stunners.
Well, thank you.
A face made for radio. That's where I used to work in a past life.
Where'd you work?
Oh, in Southern Indiana as a college student to prove that I could make it on my own.
Did you work for a Casper radio station out in Indiana?
No. This was in a different century, mind you. But it was a small independent rock station that was modeled after Keishi. So it was great fun. It was all rock, and I was happy to get backstage passes to Van Halen in those days through the radio station.
Right.
First radio job was in Frankfort, Indiana.
Frankfurt. I was in Evansville, so I was far south.
You were in a much better place than I was. Guys, I'd lived on Hot Dog Avenue in Frankfort, Indiana.
Oh, hot dog and Frankfurt, that kind of goes together, though. That's rather nice if you think about it.
Could not get out of that place fast enough.
Right.
All right, so we're here to plug and talk a lot about Keep Live Alive St. Louis.
Right.
We've got a mutual friend in Julie, your publicist,
Yes, she's handling our publicity, correct.
and she's a friend of the show. We've talked to some other people. When she said, "Hey, do you want to have these guys on?" I'm like, I have a podcast that documents St. Louis. Of course I want to have these guys on. So
Right.
let's start with Gregg. How did you get involved with this, and tell people what they need to know about the event?
Well, it started the germ of an idea. I belong to a board of directors of a group called St. Louis Classic Rock Preservation Society, which is dedicated to preserving the history of rock and pop music in St. Louis. And every fall, every November, for the last few years, we've been holding a big trivia contest to raise money for a charity. For example, I think the last couple of years it was Honor Flights, which sends veterans to Washington, D.C. to see the monuments. And of course, our event got canceled due to the pandemic. And we thought, we kind of brainstormed, and Keep Live Alive became a germ of an idea to benefit those in the live entertainment space that have been affected by layoffs and furloughs because of the pandemic. We were talking earlier, it's ticket takers, it's ushers, it's bartenders, it's wait staff, it's lighting technicians, it's sound technicians, it's marketing people, it's production people. The list is endless. Where we came up with the idea was to do a video special called Keep Live Alive. And this is what has turned into a 90-minute entertainment special that'll be available beginning March 12th at 7 p.m. It's not a streaming concert. It's a entertainment show. We interview various business executives within the live entertainment business. Joe Edwards over at Blueberry Hill and the Pageant, and Delmar Hall, and his partner, Pat Hagen, myself, Steve Shankman from Contemporary Productions. So a lot of industry people are interviewed, as well as we have musical performances by bands. The show is headlined by Sammy Hagar and Kevin Cronin of REO Speedwagon. We feature a lot of local musicians and comedians, and it's really going to be a fun show to watch.
Now, is the show already produced, or are you still adding people to it?
We've pretty well stopped adding people to it, but Ron Stevens, my partner and co-executive producer, and he is also the director, is holed up in his studio, putting the last minute touches on the editing of it right now.
Okay, so let's run through some of these people that you just talked about. I got an email from Julie. So you got Hagar, you got Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon. I saw the trailer. He's always spoken very warmly of St. Louis. You got Matt and Danny Liston from Mama's Pride. Little blue mist out there for everybody.
Right.
Got Michael Soup Granda, Ozark Mountain Dirt. Come on, everybody. If you want to get to heaven,
you got to listen to Ozark Mountain Daredevils, that's for sure.
Got to raise a little help.
Yeah, exactly.
Stan Kipper was in the Jay Ferguson band.
Yeah, he was a backup musician in several different bands, if I'm not mistaken.
You know what? I have two things with Jay Ferguson. First of all, Thunder Island, correct?
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
And here's the trivia question. Do you know what theme song from a popular television show he composed?
Jay
Ferguson.
Ferguson.
I'm out.
Oof.
The
Yeah,
Office.
and I paid $20 to be in this trivia contest. I'd like
brutal.
to know. No, I'm going to have to pass too.
The Office.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, there you go. Take that
Wow.
with you.
I will.
Paula Poundstone.
Paula Poundstone, the
Warren.
comedian, Gregg Warren. Who else in terms of the comedy world? Joe Marletti with St. Louis roots. So they'll be doing some very funny stuff. And then Ron and Joy, of course, we're a comedy team in another life, and they'll be both Ron and Joy are interviewed and comment on different aspects of the live entertainment business as well.
Somebody should call up Kathleen Madigan.
Yeah, we just ran out of time in terms of people we could call because everyone we called said yes.
Great.
It's like Bill Shelton here. I mean, I think you even called Ron up and said, "What could you do?" It's the phones were ringing off the hook with people wanting to say yes. There's a lot of people we wish we could have invited, and if we could have turned this into another Gone with the Wind, it could have been 4 hours with an intermission. So,
all right. So, Bill, you are owner, Left Field Creative.
Right. We're an advertising and marketing agency. We celebrate 25 years in business this year. So every one of those white hairs on my head is well earned. But we got the once in a lifetime break. Most people don't get once in a lifetime. 25 years ago, a client asked my partner and I to leave our jobs on 24 hours notice and go into business. And that was Citgo Petroleum, who was the number 3 petroleum retailer in the US at that time. So we went in the next day, quit our jobs, and away we went. And it's been a wild ride ever since, but it's wonderful.
What do you do with Goodwill?
With Goodwill, we actually, years ago, we did an amazing campaign with Goodwill highlighting their people and not necessarily asking for donations, but helping to get job placements and making people aware of the quality of personnel that they produce. They train people well. They do an amazing job of placing people out in the community and bringing people back into the workforce.
What do you do with Catholic Charities?
We took over Catholic Charities at one time and helped them with their Christmas appeal. And I can tell you, when we took over their Christmas appeal, they raised, in a window from Thanksgiving until New Year's, they never topped 800,000 a year. And over a 7-year span, we helped them raise that to $2.5 million within that short time frame. So it was really finding ways to communicate to people, to have a very special feeling for what that agency does. I mean, they have over 90 different programs that work underneath that umbrella that are funded. And they help anyone with any kind of problem. So we just basically rebranded them and gave them, within a marketing sense, gave them a higher purpose and gave people a reason to love them and support them.
On behalf of Friends of Friends, I want to thank you for your work there. And then the last one, what do you do with Spectrum Brands?
Okay, Spectrum Brands. We first started Spectrum Brands when the Schultz company that was based here, which was a horticultural company. I'll drop a line from my good friend Steve Schultz. His father Abe created what was called Schultz Instant Plant Food. And at the same time, and Abe was a scientist, was incredible, worked in the lab at the company until he was 94. He was an incredible guy. And anyway, he created a product called Schultz Instant Plant Food. About the same time, another guy, I think in Pittsburgh, created a similar product that was called Miracle Grow, which was named by a marketer. So they advanced along the way, but Schultz was eventually purchased by Spectrum. And so we handled brand advertising for Schultz and some of the Spectrum products on everything from fertilizers to plant foods We had an amazing termiticide product that they came up with. So we handled all their advertising on all those different product lines.
All right, again, got some friends who want to say thank you. So, Gregg, what do you do? What pays your bills, man?
I work at Contemporary Productions, and I've actually worked on and off for the 2 variations of Contemporary Productions. This will actually be my 40th year in the live entertainment business this year. So it's been a wild ride. I started with Contemporary in 1981 and rejoined the new Contemporary about 2 years ago.
Now everything's digital. Everything is faster, quicker, I guess.
Well, it's still the live entertainment business. It's, you still have to do the basic rudimentary things. You have to rent a stage, rent lights, rent sound, get a production team together, hire the band and put them on. So Contemporary's focus now has been more on corporate entertainment and corporate events, which obviously too was hit hard by pandemic, but we were able to make with some of our background in video production and video work, we're able to make a pivot, which has been an overused term here this last year, to doing more virtual events, and have been very successful with doing a wide range of clients in terms of delivering their corporate communication events via virtual. And just like the concert business, we're looking for by late summer, hopefully by the fall, that we'll be returning more to live events at corporate meetings as well as concert events as well.
Now you're based in St. Louis? You live in St. Louis?
Yes, sir. Yep, out in Chesterfield.
There you go. So on the podcast, we've had Dr. Chevegas on.
Mm-hmm.
We've had El Monstero on. And they talked about how, this is 2-3 months ago, didn't have a date booked for all of 2021 yet. Has that changed?
Yeah, you're seeing dates. I also am involved with promoting shows over at River City Casino with Steve Lippman Presents, and the last show we did there was March 1st was Dave Mason, which is a great way to sign off, I guess, if you're going to sign off with one show.
I've seen him. He's great.
Oh, he's fabulous.
Amazing show.
And
it's not fair. When I think of him, I think of Joe Cocker.
Yeah, there's a little similarity in some regards there. Right. We've been pushing a lot of shows that we had moved in 2020 to spring of 21. Now we're pushing those shows more back to the fall. So I think that the amphitheaters and the outdoors and concerts and festivals, they'll have a summer. Is it going to be June 15th or July 15th in terms of doing shows? But I think that they'll do shows this summer. It's a little bit more, a little bit more of a question mark in terms of indoor theaters. One of the places that we're working with at Contemporary Productions is the new factory that's opening up in Chesterfield, which is a 3,000 seat capacity club, which is unbelievable, by the way. I've had the chance to take tours as they're building it, and it is really fabulous. The question really will be, when is it safe to put people into indoor facilities? And the problem that you have with indoor concerts is that you need to be at capacity. The numbers just don't work, doing 25% capacities. A restaurant might be able to eke it out at 25 or 50% capacity, but at concerts, you can't do that. Plus, bands aren't willing to come and play in your town in front of 25% capacity audiences either. So it's a little bit more in doubt as to when the indoor stuff will begin. But I'd like to think that, by summertime, we'll be looking at shows all around the buildings.
All right, Bill, how did you get involved in Keep Live Alive St. Louis?
Ron Stevens that Gregg mentioned is a dear friend of ours. and just an incredible person once you get a chance to meet him. But Ron was telling me about the endeavor that they had embarked upon, and I said, "What can I do to help? What can I do?" And we talked about different things, and Ron had said, "Well, we're doing some silent auctions, some fundraising type things," and I immediately stepped up and said, "I've got some really cool memorabilia that for a St. Louis crowd would be very interesting, and we'll get some attention and hopefully draw some attention to the cause, raise a little money, and let everybody have some fun at the same time." So that's really how I came to the table on this whole thing. Because once you know Ron becomes family, and anything you can do to help him at that point, we do.
And we're going to go through some of the items so that people can get excited. Are you a collector?
My wife would say I'm a reformed hoarder. Um, but no, I am. I collect sports memorabilia. As I like to say, as you age, you try to recapture your childhood and buy it back. So I've been fortunate to acquire some really interesting things over the years. So sometimes you pick up duplicates along the way so that you can sell or trade or whatever when you're picking things up, and that's what I did with these. And I would be thrilled for people to get these to support what I like to call the back of the house people in a very big way. Because when you go to an event, whether it's a sporting event, whether it's a music event, the people in the house are a big part of the show and a part of your experience, and what they bring to it is phenomenal. If you go to certain venues regularly, you'll get to know the bartenders, you'll get to know the ticket takers, you'll get to know the ushers, and they become part of that experience for you. And they're people that you look forward to engaging with and seeing, and they're part of the event. And when they're not there, it's like something's absent. So for those people who've been hit really, really hard, from my standpoint, I was one of the lucky ones. Our business had a great year in 2020. We acquired a new client right before everything went sideways. And they were a financial client. They really kept us going. So if I can do something to help those folks, that's why I'm here.
Good man, Charlie Brown. All right. Going to go through some of the items. They're all fantastic. I don't mean to bury the lead, but do you have one favorite item that's up for auction?
Boy, actually, I can kind of narrow it to two because they're differing. My favorite that's in there is one that is something that I think is high sentimental value to everyone in St. Louis. It is an unused ticket from Game 5 of the 1985 National League Championship Series, where Ozzie hits the walk-off home run off Tom Niedenfuhrer, and Jack Buck has one of his all-time great calls. And I mean, I'm a total dork about this. My hair is standing up. I get chills when I talk about it. I can give you Jack Buck's call from that moment. But if you're a Cardinal fan, that's one of those things you remember where you were, whether you were in the stadium. I can remember I was in college at that point. I was in a friend of mine's room because I didn't have a TV, and he'd created this really incredibly ornate ceiling with these custom tiles that he did. And I flew out of my chair and put my hand through one of the ceiling tiles and pulled it down with it around my wrist, and then had to figure out how to tell him I just destroyed his room. But there's a certain magic to those things. I keep one of those in my office. The best part about this ticket as well, Ozzie has signed it and inscribed it, "Go crazy, folks."
Nice.
So, it's one of those things. I keep one of those in my office. It's on a bookshelf right across from my desk. And if I'm having a bad day or I need a little inspiration, I can look at that and I can be in that moment. So
I was at that game. I had the worst seat in the house. And, it was funny because, way before social media, it took several days to really understand what Jack Buck had done.
Right.
With the Go Crazy thing. And if I remember correctly, he was not lauded by everybody about it. But I had the worst seats. We were right field at the very, very top, kind of where that bottle cap of the stadium ceiling would hit your head.
I've been in those seats. Yeah. Giants, Jose Oquendo home run, game-winning home run, if I remember. Anyway, the home run had cleared the fence before the noise of the ball hitting the bat found my ears. That's how far back we were.
Oh,
exactly.
I used to laughingly call the arches, it was the stadium was mirrored after the Gateway Arch with the arches in the top, but I always said that was Branch Ricky's ashtray, and he was flicking ashes down from his cigar in heaven on us up there when we were up that high.
Right. Now, I always had heard that it was a bottle cap.
Really?
That it was designed to look like a bottle cap. Now, maybe we can't resolve it on today's show, but maybe that's a
good trivia question we need to have answered.
Yeah.
What was your?
But the arch makes sense too.
Arch first bottle cap. Stay tuned. Bill, what was your second item?
The second one, I have all of them here, and actually the Oquendo ticket, that was the Oquendo was game 7 of the 87 in LCS, right?
I was there.
Okay, we have that ticket signed by Oquendo as well.
Nice.
But this is kind of
a case of beer that I took from somebody's hotel room while we were trying to get out of Busch Stadium.
I think it'd probably be stale by now. I think that was before Born on Dating. This is kind of a special gig for me. This was a glove that was used in the filming of the movie The Natural. And I was fortunate enough to know someone out in LA. The prop houses for years would usually keep props from a movie for 25 years. That was the standard that they worked by. And at 25 years, it was up to the studio. It was up to the people who made the film if they wanted to keep the things or liquidate them, and they'd have to pay an additional fee. The people that made The Natural said, "Hey, that's fine, release it." So I was fortunate enough to buy three gloves. I had someone on the ground there just by chance who called, it was a friend, and said, "They're auctioning off the stuff from The Natural. Do you want anything?" I said, "Buy me every glove for a left-hander you can find in the hopes that one of them might have been Redford's." So I'm including one of those here. For me, that's a magical movie. It's probably the best baseball movie, in my opinion, ever made. I can argue Bull Durham with you, which I watched the other night again. I can argue Field of Dreams, but there's, and Redford changed the ending from Bernard Malamud's original novel, which was very different. So we had the Hollywood ending, but that's a little piece, whether you're a movie buff, entertainment buff, whatever, that's a little piece of movie magic right there. And
so how's this going to work? When's the debut again, guys?
The special begins on Friday, March 12th at 7:00.
And you can watch that for free, and there's a donate button, and that's how people can contribute to the cause.
Right. And then to go to the special or to donate, you just go to keeplivealivestl.org. keeplivealivestl.org. And then if everybody's busy on that day, it doesn't go away. You can still catch it anytime after 7 p.m. on the 12th.
And then you hit the donate, and the money goes. How did you acquire the list or create the list of where this money's going?
Well, there wasn't really a list. We just identified a segment of the marketplace. We have a woman by the name of Cindy Schrader who's heading up, we're a 501c3. So she's heading up our grant process, and she's working with another woman by the name of Gail Leonard. And together they're going to take the applications. You can also get a grant application at our website, and you download that along with the information that we need provided. And then they review it and approve it, and you'll get $1,000 grant.
Nice. Bill, a lot of these tickets, like you got a 2009 Major League Baseball All-Star Game ticket. You got a 2011 National League Division Series game ticket. They're full tickets, meaning that they didn't get ripped. Are they more valuable now? Explain that to me.
On those tickets, those are modern tickets that get scanned. So, rarely do you have tickets ripped at a major sporting event. On some of the earlier ones, there are some full tickets there. It really depends on who collects them. I know people who collect them that say, "I don't like unused tickets. I want a ticket that was at the event. It was part of the event itself." And there are other collectors who say, "I want the full ticket." I don't really have a preference. I like them both. So I have both in what I have. But yeah, that's really the theory behind it. So is one more valuable than the other? That's kind of a buyer seller decision on who wants what.
Looking at the 1955 MLB All-Star Game ticket stub. I don't think there's a lot of those running around.
Not a lot of those around. It's here. That was voted the greatest moment in All-Star history. And the reason I included it, Stan Musial hits a walk-off home run in the 12th inning for a National League win. Bottom of the 12th, Musial just crushes a pitch. And it's the thing of legend, and fans in the media voted just a few years ago that was the greatest moment in All-Star history.
And two of those?
Pardon me?
You've got two of those?
Actually, I have one of those. I'm donating that one out of the goodness of my heart. No. I was fortunate enough to work with Stan, who was one of the most special individuals you will ever meet in your life.
You ever work with Dick Zitzman?
I worked with Dick, his agent. We did some appearances and different things with Stan. The thing that stands out for me for Stan, Stan is one of only two people that have ever thanked me when I asked him for an autograph. And the other one was Jack Buck. And Jack had the great line of all time. I asked him, and he said, "Thank you." I said, "Jack, why are you thanking me for asking for an autograph?" And he said, "Because you care enough to make me a part of your life." Wow.
A lot of good Jack Buck stories out there.
A lot of good Jack Buck stories.
Stan Musial, one of my top 10 trivia questions. I don't know how many hits he had, but he had the exact same amount at home as he had on the road. The exact
3,630.
Thank you. See, I'm your Ed McMahon, Bill. I'll throw it out there, and then
I'll have to be the Freddie DeCorva. I mean,
I believe that means you're the brains of the operation.
Yeah, right. I can't keep up with the stats.
All right, I saw something else in here. Archie Moore, something to do with Archie Moore.
Archie Moore. There's an autographed. I don't have it here with me at the moment. There's an autographed Everlast boxing glove that's signed by Archie Moore. If you're familiar with Archie Moore, he was an absolute monster in the ring. He was born into poverty in Mississippi, and his family moved to St. Louis. He spent his formative years here. Archie Moore boxed into his mid-40s. He had over 130 knockouts in his career. He was called the Mongoose, and he was simply lethal in the ring. And if you're not in deep boxing circles, he's forgotten to an extent. But, think about that, 130 plus knockouts. Guys today would be lucky if they fought 130 fights, and that's pro and amateur. So for him to do that, if you can go back and find video of him on YouTube, and if you watch this guy, he is just simply stunning. I mean, he commands the ring, and Ring Magazine still ranks him as one of the hardest punchers of all time.
So I'm getting this feeling that the next sports trivia event I have at my school, I'm going to have to call you up.
I used to
be on your team, right?
Not on anybody else's team.
No, that's if you remember, St. Patrick's Center used to have the World Championship of Sports Trivia.
Right. We had Kelly Peach has been on before. We talked about that.
Yeah, that was a great time. I was in that almost every year. I think we finished top 10 every year, but the guys that won studied and usually finished with like 94 correct answers out of 100, and they got all their winnings, and the IRS agent was there at the end of the stage handing them the form because the payout was so good.
I'm just saying Mark Close is part of this event, and I have beaten Mark Close in a music trivia event. So there you can take that with you.
No, I don't think I can go there anymore, not unless you're going in the Wayback Machine.
All right, I missed something. I want to make sure. We were just talking about Archie Moore. We got some. Jack Clark. You've got an autographed, framed photo. Jack Clark, Game 6. We had Jerry Royce on.
Oh my gosh!
2 weeks ago, I asked him if he second guessed Lasorda. He said, "Shit, no, I first guessed him. I don't know why." So explain this item. And am I right? Like you give out. There's going to be maybe like a video of the home run, and then you talk about the event. Is that how this is working?
On the special?
Yes.
Yeah. No. The what Bill is doing, he's doing separate with a couple of people on our team, and the memorabilia is going to be available on eBay.
God.
I think we reference it in the special, but we don't have video. Major League Baseball has the rights to that video.
Yeah. What was interesting was I saw the trailer, right? And so you've got Sammy and you've got Kevin Cronin talking about the first time he ever sang with REO Speedwagon. It was at Kiel.
Right.
Very entertaining. I'm guessing. No, I don't want to guess. How long did it take you to get the video where it is now? And I know you're still editing it, but when did you start with this?
I gotta say, Ron's been working 8-hour days on this probably since mid-December, easy. Like I said, originally kind of started as a 30-minute special and grew to an hour, and then Ron poked his head up from the studio and said, "It's 90 minutes." So I think he's been working on it seriously, 8 hours a day since mid-December.
Have you seen it?
I've seen bits and pieces because of COVID. It's difficult to run down to the studio and see it every time, but he's going to do a sneak preview for some of us here in the next 48 hours, hopefully.
Bill, have you seen it?
I have not seen it. Actually, I don't want to see it until it's finished.
Oh.
I want the full reveal at that point. I'm not part of the production, so.
All right,
so I don't want any spoiled moments.
Even if we don't like the Rams, we all have a nice place in our heart for Ricky Prohl's catch. You got a ticket stub on that one?
Yeah, well, actually, there's a ticket stub from that game, which was the NFC Championship game that was held at the Jones Dome. Ricky Prohl makes the catch of a lifetime, and for me, my favorite part of that ticket is the fact that at that point, the Rams' Kurt Warner that season became only the second quarterback in NFL history to throw for 40 touchdowns, joining Dan Marino in that club. And Prohl was the only receiver on that team not to catch a touchdown in the regular season. And if you remember, Tampa Bay's up late in the game. Dre Bly picks off a pass. This is the Rams' last chance. 4 minutes left in the game. Kurt Warner drops back. Everybody, Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce were lined up on the right side. Everybody expects the ball to go there. Kurt turns and throws to the left, and there's Ricky in the end zone that makes an incredible catch to send us to the Super Bowl. And, I always tell people, for me, that's my highlight moment of that season. It's not Isaac Bruce catching the game winner in the Super Bowl or Mike Jones making the tackle on the last play of the game, because without Prohl's catch, we don't get there.
Right.
Bill, I sell advertising at K-Fan. I think we can find you a show.
It's I kind of live by this stuff. It's it's my original dream in life was to be a sports broadcaster, and somebody's like, one of my professors once told me years ago, he's like, "Man, you got talent, you could really do this, but you never hit 300 and you got crappy pipes."
Your pipes are fine. We had Ron Jacober on. That guy never once took a class about his voice. That's just how he talks.
I will tell you a great Ron Jacober story that's wonderfully true. Years ago, I got my start on the Lennox heating and air conditioning account. We handled all the dealers. So every dealer, they'd have a radio commercial, and it's like, "Oh, call Joe's Heating and Air Conditioning." So we hired Jacober for those line drops because it was going to run in Cardinal baseball. And we took him over to the old Clayton studios here with Dick Hewlett that ran it. And Ron comes in the morning, and I've got like 30 of these for him to do. Little 10-second drops. And he comes in and he reads the first couple and he's flat. And Dick Hewlett looks over at me and he knew Ron. And he goes, "Ron, hang on a second. We're going to fix this right now." Comes back in with an ashtray and a huge cup of coffee and says, "Ron, fire up the cigarette and go." After that, every single one was a one take. He drilled every single one. It was classic. Take a sip of coffee, take a hit off the cigarette, bang. Everything was perfection.
Does anybody know more about St. Louis radio than Dick Hewlett?
No.
No.
Not even close.
It's almost like we're running through a parade of former OT guests because Dick was on. And I really, with him, what I loved about his stories were he was kind of like on the outside, but also on the inside. So when all the AM stuff was happening and then it was moving over, he was in the middle of it, but he wasn't like a core of it. And so he was able to
Right.
have a fresh perspective on how that was all working out. So anyway,
Yeah.
gonna name drop one last time. Let's do this two ways. Gregg and Bill, you've got a great 2020 Musial Awards VIP gift, commemorative bat and book. First, Gregg, if you wouldn't mind, the Musial Awards. You're familiar with them, I'm guessing.
Sure.
What do people not know that they should know about the Musial Awards?
Well, I'm going to defer to William on that one because I don't know enough about that.
Okay, Bill.
I don't have a deep knowledge on it, but for me, what the Musial Awards genuinely stand for, I mean, had Stan played in a major market, had he played in New York, had he played in Boston, he would have been a god. There's no doubt about it. When he retired, his numbers were off the charts as far as where they were in all-time standings, and they still are. But as great a ball player as Stan was, he was a better human being. And what the Musial Awards do is bring forward stories of sportsmanship, stories of courage and support, and the great things that make up sport. And Gregg can talk to this as well. Whether you're in a sport and you're in a team or you're in a production where everybody involved knows their role and everybody works independently, but you work together and draws upon their strength, there's an incredible special bond that happens there. And you see that in the Musial Awards when they talk about teamwork and the special things. One of the people they had on that they highlighted this year, absolutely, it brought me to tears. And I'm a sap anyway. I'm a funeral director's dream. I cry at movies. I cry when I see sports events. But there was a kid in Indiana, where I'm from, where basketball is more religion than sport. And he was an all-state player. He's a 6'7" forward. He'd signed his letter of intent to go to school, has a 37-point game, leaves the game, is in a car accident on the way out, winds up in a coma, and in most ways would be totally debilitated, never be able to be involved in the sport again. The college that he had signed with kept his scholarship, brought him in as a manager so he could get his education and everything else. And in the final game of his senior year, they let him suit up and they kind of cut a deal with the other team and let him score a bucket and got him back into the game. And that's kind of the magic of Stan. Stan would have wanted those moments. I mean, he did so much behind the scenes, so many things that people never knew about, good things for people. You never saw him say no to anyone. He was an ambassador of life and not just baseball. So that's really what those awards are about, and they're incredibly special.
Very nice.
That's what I was going to say, but I thought it'd be better for Bill.
Because, you've taken up so much of our time already. You
Right.
Let Bill say something.
Right.
And we got a Jack Clark autograph baseball. Hold on. We got Super Bowl.
There's some cool Jack Clark stuff there. There's the photo of him hitting the home run off of Niedenfuhrer. There's an unused autographed ticket from that game as well.
There's an Adam Wainwright 2011 World Series ball autographed.
Right.
That's presented the signed ball to the St. Louis police officer for a fundraiser to purchase youth sports equipment. Our donor purchased the ball at an auction during the fundraiser.
Yeah.
Everybody's paying it forward, man.
Hey, that's what it's all about, But a good friend of mine was he was the officer in the dugout during the World Series, and got to know the guys. He knew all the guys in the clubhouse. He was very active in PAL, which is the Police Athletic League, and had a fundraiser for them one night. And I was trying to help him out and shill bid the price up a little bit, and I shill bid a little bit much and won the ball. So I figured it's sitting here. I've got a signed Waino ball from 2006 when he, recorded the final out of the series. So I figured, okay, 2011, I can donate here.
All right, let's talk about the organization, 2019 Blues Western Conference commemorative ticket, Game 6.
These were commemorative tickets that the Blues released afterwards because all the tickets were digital, except for a very few instances where the NHL does what they call relocate people, so they can take really good seats and give them to sponsors and things. But they released the commemoratives. Game 6 is what sent us to the Stanley Cup Finals. I was fortunate enough to be at that game. It was a very surreal night because there were storms in the area, and as we're walking to the Enterprise Center, tornado sirens are going off. Everybody's, and you're in, and they're giving these announcements. Please go to the safest place, which is inside the bowl. Go to your seats. So the storms passed over, but we won. For me, what makes that evening special, seats that I were in were right below the Blues box, and Tom Stillman was sitting at the very front of the box all night long. Tom Stillman, president, managing partner. And the score was such that it was a done deal. We're going to win, and they're counting down the seconds, and Stillman's there, and he's watching the scoreboard. He's just back and forth. And the moment this clock hits 0, I think it's what every Blues fan felt in their heart. Like me, I'm in my 50s. I never thought that I would be able to say world champion Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues. I didn't think I would ever be able to say those words. And Stillman at that moment breaks into elation, and he yells and immediately breaks into tears. And all the emotions spill at once. And there's a certain magic to that. And for all of us, that was the moment we hadn't been able to get past. I was there. I had on a 1970 retro Barclay Plager jersey. That was my good luck charm. And bought a beer for a guy that I don't know that I bumped into who had on a red Berenson jersey. And that was the last time that the Blues were in the Cup final. But for those things to happen, for me, that was a cataclysmic moment. It's like all the planets aligned, and we finally got over the hump, and we're back to the Cup. So that's the reason those are there.
Schlafly's been on, and he showed me the ring. And it was like, I want one of those. All right, so have I not talked about something we're donating? Gregg first, maybe, and your answer probably is no, but is there something we're donating that I have not brought up yet that you know
of? Again, Bill would have the ultimate list.
Bill, something?
One here. Oh, hang on. Okay. I'm back. I apologize for that.
You're back.
People calling me that I don't want to talk to, wanting me to buy things. The one that's here that I think will resonate with some people, hang on, I actually have it here, is a full unused ticket from Game 6 of the 2004 National League Championship Series. And 2004, if you're a Cardinal fan, is a heartbreak season. That was the greatest single season Cardinal team of all time, had more wins. And we had the MV3 with Scott Rowland, with Jimmy Edmonds, and with Albert Pujols. And we had a classic battle with Houston. We come back here, and the game goes into extra innings, and Edmonds hits a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 12th, and the whole place goes crazy. We actually have an autographed photo of that moment in here as well. But those tickets are very hard to come by. It was a sellout game. Very few people parted with them. And the fact that this is genuinely a full unused ticket is incredibly rare, because to find unused tickets in this town from that game, figuring that was the first time we'd been back to the series since 1987, is a very, very big deal. So Jimmy was kind enough to autograph it and put walk-off home run as an inscription with it.
Was that the same series where Pujols took Lidge deep?
No, that was 2005. That was in Houston. There's a great.
You should have your own show, man.
I actually we were editing a spot one time, and we had footage from the Cardinals, and I had the raw feed from that game, and Minute Maid Park in Houston. That was the 9th inning. I remember watching that here and losing my mind when Albert hit the home run. But the stadium was deafening. The fans were going crazy because they thought that's it. They're going to the World Series. And the place is at an epic pitch. It was as loud as a Who concert in the 70s where your ears bleed. And Lidge comes up, and Pujols just drills it. And in an instant, it's silent. You could hear a pin drop, the whole place. And I'll never forget, on the feed, it didn't go to the network, Andy Pettit's in the dugout with Roger Clemens, and Pettit's just like drops an F-bomb, like, holy F, when they watched this thing go, and Pujols just crushed it. One of my favorite Cardinal moments. So, but no, that was the next year when we didn't make it. The 2004 series, that was Edmund's show. He hit the walk-off in Game 6, and then they had the catch in Game 7 off of Jeff Kent that was just incredible. It's like he shifted gears, and that turned the game around. Killed a rally with it and set the tone.
All right, guys, enjoyed this. We're going to get ready to wrap it up. By the way, there was some joke, like a true story. The Cardinals were flying back after that game and having a ball on the plane, and somebody was like, hey, look out of the right side of the airplane. And they're like, what? He goes, that's Pujols' hit. Home run still.
That was actually the pilot of the plane who came over the intercom. Was like, if you'll look out the left side of the plane, you'll see the ball that Albert just hit off of Brett Lidge.
Again, man, I'm just setting you up. Fred, hey, you got to help me in the background.
Hey,
take
this. Right. You just lob them in and I'll hit them out.
Right.
Keep Live Alive St. Louis.org, correct?
It's Keep Live Alive STL.org.
Thank you very much.
And Ron Stevens did an incredible little spot to help you remember that goes through.
Right. Right.
You look on YouTube, it's there. It's wonderful.
Well, and we should probably mention too, again, that these items are going to be promoted on our Facebook page, Keep Live Alive. And they're going to be on eBay because we felt that was the best place to house them, so to speak. And they'll be I think, Bill, the plan is to put those live right after the 12th. Is that correct?
I believe so. I don't have the dates in front of me, but I think that's right.
Yeah, right after the 12th of March, those will be up on eBay, but you'll be able to find a link to each one through our Facebook page. We'll be posting each item. And I should point out too, this special would not have been possible if it hadn't been for the huge support that we've gotten from Hubbard Broadcasting, KC Radio, The Point, the Arch, WIL Radio have been nothing but huge fans of Keep Live Alive. They're actually doing a commemorative Sweet Meat t-shirt and donating the proceeds to us on that. WIL is sponsoring a concert down at Ballpark Village on the 20th of March with the proceeds coming to us. So along with Hubbard, we had Weber Chevrolet and Ezra Brooks 99 have helped us underwrite the cost of the special, which was great because we were able to hire lighting technicians, sound technicians, to help us produce this special. There's nothing worse than going to an out of work person and asking them to see if they can volunteer some of their time. So we greatly appreciate both our media sponsors and our corporate sponsors on this as well.
All right, Greg, we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to ask you an awkward question, but
sure,
it's open-ended. People freaking donate because ...
People donate because without these people, you don't get to go to concerts. And that's the bottom line. It's these professionals who've trained their lives, a lot of them, to be able to produce these concerts. Like I said, I spent the last 40 years doing this. It's not like I can go work at Boeing just because I'm laid off now. So it's to take care of people that bring us all these great shows over the course of our lifetime.
Bill, at the end of the day, what are you hoping this accomplishes?
At the end of the day, what I really hope this accomplishes is twofold. A, we get to help some people who are genuinely big parts of our lives, who are often nameless and faceless behind the scenes, but they make the show go on. And the other one is to give people a greater awareness of what these people do and who they are. It takes so many people to put on a production behind the scenes, and for all of them, it's a labor of love. And they need, we talk about stars in this world and heroes in this world, but the heroes of this world are the people who make things work, and they're the people behind the scenes. And because without them, the show never goes on. So hopefully it brings a greater awareness to that, and people have a greater appreciation of who these people are.
Gentlemen, enjoyed it. Let's go raise some money.
Woohoo.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.